Lesbian Detectives. Unsolved cases. She's still missing. Yeah, they haven't found her yet. Well, let's talk about it.
They say he vanished without a trace. Could it be a psychotic break or a tragic accident? Police don't know where the body went. Unsolved murders, body still missing. That's unheard. Where's the witness? Lesbian detectives, what's going on? City on high alert, this out the norm. He did what, the who? Man, that ain't real, these crimes ain't true. Then come uncover these theories with us. We live right now, tuning in is a must.
Right now. Lesbian Detectives. Lesbian Detectives. We about to start the show, so get your popcorn ready, let's go. Pay attention to the message. I present to you the Lesbian Detectives.
This is Lesbian Detectives. I'm Sierra.
And I'm Elizabeth.
And we are here talking about missing and unsolved murders.
We are discussing cases that you have forgotten about or never even heard of.
So sit back, relax, and let's start this podcast. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for all returning to our little podcast. We had a long weekend. My wife got a little tan. I got tan. I did not know I could get that tan. I was like, okay, sunscreen a little bit more. But we had a fantastic weekend, and we all hope you guys had a fantastic weekend. This episode right here, it's a trigger warning. It involves a young child.
If you don't want to hear an unaliving of a young child, please skip this episode.
Now let's get into the episode. In a small coastal town shaped by the rhythm of the sea, in a powerful naval base, a young mother's life was quietly unfolding. She lived in a modest apartment with her two young children, holding on to dreams of a fresh start. Soon, she was to leave this place behind, packing her belongings, preparing to move across the country to join her fiancé, a man serving far away in the military. The future seemed bright, filled with hope and new beginnings. But as winter tightened its grip one January day, the ordinary was shattered. After a familiar visitor left late in the evening, someone who had come to see the children, the house slipped into silence. The next day, the visitor returned, only to find the door unlocked, but no one was answering inside. An unimaginable horror awaits. Two bodies lay on the floor, a mother and her young daughter, both victims of a savage and brutal attack. Signs of strangulation marred their lifeless form. The mother bore additional wounds, evidence of a violent struggle and assault. Yet, in the midst of the nightmare, the infant son was found alive. Left alone amidst the chaos, the silence broke only by the soft cries of the child, unaware of the tragedies surrounding him. There is no sign of forced injuries, no indication of robbery or theft. Variables remain untouched, and neighbors report no unusual noise, no scream, no forced knock, only the haunting sound of a baby crying in the hours that follow. This absence of forced entries suggests a horrifying possibility. The killer was someone the mother trusts enough to open the door to. But who? A stranger slipping in under cover of darkness. A friend turned foe? The question mounts, each more agonizing than the last. This case baffled investigators from the start. The last person known to see their mother and daughter alive was questioned, but eventually cleared by alibi and evidence. Others connected to the family came under scrutiny, but no evidence could be linked to any suspects to the crime. DNA collected at the scene offered a fragile thread of hope, but decades later it remained a secret, possibly incomplete, unmatched, a ghost trapped in a database. Detective who inherited the case left notes pleading for answers, for justice for the mother and her child whose lives were stolen so violently. In recent years, advances in forensic science has brought new promise. Officials reveal that DNA points to someone they know, but the name remains just beyond reach, concealed in the shadows of time. Now, more than 3 decades later, the mystery endures. The killer remained free, the motive unknown, the questions unanswered. Who was the figure behind the unlocked door that cold January night? What darkness intent drove them to commit such a violent attack? Why was the youngest child spared while his mother and his sister were silenced forever? The silence is defiant. The unsolved case haunting the community, a lingering shadow that refused to fade. Until the truth emerged, the restless spirits of the night continue to whisper their story, a tragic reminder that some darkness can linger for years, waiting for the light to finally break through. This is a case of Helene, Nikki Anderson, and Adrienne Hale. Even more than 3 decades, the chilling story of Helene Nikki Anderson refused to fade into the shadow of a forgotten case. Born on an autumn day in 1958 in the quiet town of Indiana, Nikki's early life remained mostly a blank canvas, her childhood and her family life concealed behind a silent wall. To those who remember her, she was simply Nikki, a young woman who carried a quiet strength, but whose full story truly began only when she followed love across the country to Washington. Bremerton, nestled along the Pacific Northwest coast, with misty mornings and the distant echo of ships in the harbor, is a city defined by its Navy Yard, one of the most formidable Navy bases in the nation. It's a place where the secrets hide beneath salty air and fog, and where life intense with duty, love, and sometimes tragedy. In her early 20s, Nikki took a leap that will forever change her life. She left behind the closeness of Indiana flat farmland to join Kenny Hale, a sailor stationed in Washington. This wasn't just a move of miles, but of world, a step into the unknown, with no testing, no FaceTime, only the hope that love will bridge the distant and the new life ahead. By late 1981, Nikki's world had changed in the most profound way. She was a mother. On November the 9th, Adrienne was born, a wonderful child whose brightness and spirit touched everyone around her. Those who knew Adrienne spoke of her as wise beyond her years, a child with a smile that could light up the darkness in any room. Yet, even amongst the joy, shadow gathered. The fragile love between Nikki and Kenny ended, but they promised to remain partners for their daughter's sake. Time marched on. Nikki found love again, this time with Otha, another Navy man. Together they built a life with hope and dreams. By the summer of 1985, Nikki gave birth to Marcus, her second child, and a new beginning. Engagement followed, and the plans were made to move south to the sunnier skies of San Diego, where Otha was stationed, and where they hoped to start fresh. But faith had other plans. As the final days of January 1986 crept in, Nikki's life appeared to be on the cusp of change. She was surrounded by the chaos of packing, sifting through belongings in a small duplex on Magnolia Drive, carefully preparing for the move ahead. Her 2 children, Adrienne and Marcus, were her world. It was an ordinary week on the surface. Pam, the next-door neighbor, stopped by for a friendly visit. Kenny, ever the devoted father, despite the past drive-by to see Adrienne. These moments were filled with a routine conversation and laughter will soon be staying forever. On the eve of January 29th, Kenny left around 8:30 p.m. after a brief visit. Adrienne had asked if she could stay overnight, but Kenny, tired and aware of his early morning, declined. That simple decision, denying a night with her father, would haunt him for the rest of his life. As Kenny drove away, he saw Adrienne waving goodbye at the window, unaware that those waves were the last she would ever send. The following day, January the 30th, brought an eerie silence. Kenny returned to Nikki's apartment around 8 p.m., expecting a familiar warmth of home and family, but instead he was met with silence. No answer to his knock. Notes cluttered the door. A scrawled message from a friend, even a furniture store urging Nikki to make contact or face legal trouble. It was a small detail, but one heavy with weight. A woman burdened with the final arrangement of a life about to change forever. The apartment door, unlocked, yet resisted, finally gave way under Kenny's assistance. What awaits him inside was a nightmare beyond words. In the pitch-black living room, he tripped over a lifeless form. His hand brushed against stiff, cold skin. His daughter's leg. Adrienne, motionless, heart pounding, disbelief flooding every thought. Kenny's shock turned to panic. He grabbed baby Marcus from the playpen where a couch cushion lay oddly placed and ran to the next door neighbor for help. Returning with the neighbor's light flip on a revealing brutal scene. Nikki and Adrienne both laying on the floor, their bodies showing signs of strangulation. Nikki's face was beaten, her body marked with bruises and wounds from a violent assault. Evidence of a sexual violence added a darker layer to the horror. Blood stained the floor, a grimmer testament to the struggle that had taken place within these walls. But the question that gripped everyone was, why was Marcus left alive? A mystery that sent chills. Was he spared because he was too young to witness? And why was the baby moved from the couch to the playpen, blood smeared across his tiny clothes?
Detectives quickly ruled out robbery. Nothing was stolen. Valuables lay untouched. The absence of forced entry suggested Nikki had opened the door willingly, perhaps to someone she trusted. Neighbors painted a picture of Nikki as careful, cautious, unlikely to open her door late at night to strangers. So who could have walked in and shattered her life so savagely? Suspicion immediately landed on Kenny, the last to see Nikki and Adrienne alive. But his alibi was solid, and after months of questioning and a tense polygraph session halted by his attorney, he was cleared. Still, the stigma clung a dark cloud over a grieving father. Other leads surfaced. Pam, the neighbor who heard nothing but baby cries. Antoine, a man who left notes and searched the neighborhood. 3 others connected to Nikki's past, but none yielded evidence. DNA found at the scene sparked hope, but decades later, it remained a ghost in the system. Some samples are incomplete, others unmatched. Detectives who had taken on the case over the years have been haunted by their inability to close the file. One even left a desperate plea in the case notes for his successor. Help find justice for this mother and daughter. In 2019, a detective revealed a chilling truth. The DNA points to a person they know, but they cannot yet name him. We could say in essence we figured out who our bad guy is. We just don't know what his name is. 37 years have passed since the dreadful night, and yet the killer walks free, a shadow lurking in Bremerton fog. Who was the stranger behind the unlocked door? What twisted motive led to such merciless violence? And why was Marcus left alone amidst the horror? The silence of the unanswered questions hangs heavy, a reminder that sometimes evil hides in plain sight, and justice can be a long, cold road. Nikki and Adrienne's bright lives were stolen too soon, their stories lingering in the mist, waiting for the day the truth will finally break through the darkness. Before we end this case, let's remember the people that lost their life, Nikki and Adrienne. Though Helen, Nikki, Anderson, and her precious daughter, Adrienne, were taken far too soon, their memory continues to shine brightly in the hearts of those who knew and loved them. Nikki was known as a devoted mother, kind, careful, and full of quiet strength. She carried the heavy responsibilities of parenthood with grace, juggling work and family while dreaming of a better future for her children. Adrienne, even at just 4 years old, was said to possess a remarkable spirit, wise beyond her years, with a smile that could light up any room, and a personality that left a lasting impression on everyone she met. And little Marcus, though only an infant when tragedy struck, embodies the silent legacy of his family's love and resilience. Kenny Hale, the father of the children, and Nikki's former partner, was a man marked by deep devotion and heartbreak. Despite the pain and the years of suspicion, he remained a steadfast presence in his children's lives, holding on to hope and the desperate wish for justice. Those who knew Kenny described him as caring and undetermined, a man forever changed but never defeated by grief. The community around them remembers Nikki as cautious and thoughtful, someone who guarded her family fiercely and who lived an ordinary life filled with love and simple joys. Neighbors recall her warmth and kindness, a woman who, even in the most challenging circumstances, sought to build a safe and nurturing home. Yet, despite the love that surrounded them, Nikki and Adrienne's lives were violently stolen, leaving a wound that has never fully healed. Over the years, family, friends, and neighbors have refused to let their story be forgotten. Their memories live on in acts of remembrance, in the quiet prayers whispered for justice, in the unwavering resolve of a community that continues to seek answers. For decades, the search for truth has persisted, not just by police, but by those who loved Nikki, Adrienne, and Marcus. Their story is a somber reminder that behind every unsolved case are real people, with hopes, dreams, and lives worth remembering. And though the years stretch on, the light of their memory endures, reminding us all that love is eternal and that those who are lost remain forever in our hearts, urging us onward until justice is found. This is the case of Helen Nikki Anderson and Adrienne Hale. Now let's get into some theories.
Theories.
Let's get into some theories. Let's get into some theories. Everyone is a suspect until proven guilty. Let's get into some theories. Lesbian Detectives. What type of thoughts you thinking? What theories running through your mind? I'm thinking all types of suspicion. Uncover the truth, what we can find. Witness say they saw somebody creeping out the back door. What you think they did it for? That's so crazy, I'm not sure. They found a car, where could she be? Here go another puzzle piece. Researching through your history. It's plenty unsolved mysteries. Everyone is a suspect until proven guilty. Let's get into some theories, yeah. Let's get into some theories. Let's get into some theories. Everyone is a suspect until proven guilty. Let's get into some theories. Lesbian Detectives.
You or me?
Good.
This one is kind of tricky. So, the main suspect everybody thought was Kenny.
Mm-hmm.
I have read some of Kenny's interviews and I just don't see him doing it. Only reason why is because, okay, no, I'm just going to put it out there. If he killed his ex, I was like, okay, I can see that. But his daughter, how close and attached he was to his daughter, for you to strangle somebody, you have to make eye contact. That's like very personal. I don't think he could have done that part, because to this day, you still see him holding his daughter picture, like showing her off, like still like doing interviews, talking about her heavily. Even though like I read his interviews talking about the police. Like, he was the first suspect at the end of the day, and the police went at him hard. And he was answering all the question. It was his sister to say, like, hey, bro, you need to get a lawyer because they coming at you hard. They might put these murders on you. And he was like, no, I'm helping them. They need the help. And then that's when he realized, like, oh, no, they really see me as a person of interest. So he was like, no, I didn't get a lawyer. And then when he got a lawyer, he was doing a polygraph test. And they was like asking him questions. He was like, no. And his lawyer cut the interview off like, no, these are not the questions we all like agreed to. Like they was trying to like really like put it on him.
Mhm.
So I could understand like why he stopped like kind of working with the police a little bit, because the police was sometimes I feel like police officers, when they have like the person they think is the killer, they go hard and they're like, we gonna get you. Even with no evidence, they're gonna go for that person. Like we talked about our last episode. They went hard for this man with no evidence and they found out like, oh, he didn't do it. So I always believe it's somebody that she knows, because everybody said that she was the type of person how I am. I'm not opening that door if I don't know you, if I don't trust you. And they said that she was the same type of way. And I felt like, to me, I felt like it was somebody that did not want her to leave Washington. It was somebody that was probably in love with her, that wanted her, because she was a beautiful woman. Her pictures and her daughter, they was beautiful. So it seemed like, to me, they wanted her. They tried to convince her like, hey, no, stay with me, be with me. But she probably was like, no, like, I'm moving to be with my fiance. We started a new life. And they probably got mad and was like, sometimes, let's be honest, some people can't take rejections. So the rejection happened and they were like, you know what, got mad and start beating her and, SA her, then unalive her. And I always think of the daughter. Only reason I feel like they unalive her is because her father even said she was very smart for her age. Like she came out just like she picked on things so fast. And for a kid like that and was knowledgeable and the mother knew the person, she could easily say like, yeah, this person hurt my mommy. And it's sad that like her son was in that house for so long crying. And then also like the neighbor, to me, I'm like, if you hearing this baby cry all day and your friend don't let her child cry this long, why you didn't like, let me go check on my friend? I mean, she kind of did, but like the baby still kept crying, still kept crying, still kept crying. Like sooner or later, I was like, okay, like my friend, something happening,
Right.
But I do believe it's someone she did know, and the police did say they do have DNA, but it's not a match to someone yet. And I wonder if they could do like, have they run it again to like ancestry or stuff like that to see if a hit somewhere. Because if you knew, like to me, that's why I think it's not Kenny, because Kenny DNA is in the system. He was in the military. Their DNA is in the system, hands down. We all know that.
I wish I had more information, honestly. I don't think that Kenny did it. I agree with what you said. He loved his daughter that much. And I feel like if he would have done it, he probably would have taken his daughter to a safe place.
Right.
I don't see him unaliving his own daughter. I was thinking it was Otha, but he was in San Diego. So unless he mysteriously took a plane, unalive both of them, but left his child alive.
You can see that, but it has to be proof. Like, he's also in the military, so his DNA would have matched somewhere. I don't know. It's like...
Is military DNA also uploaded to the database?
It's not, but I think they have to, like, ask for permission to run the DNA against each other.
But then they would need probable cause.
Right.
So I guess it really doesn't matter if you're in the military and your DNA is out there.
I heard they have databases now that like when people are like sexual assault and they give their DNA in the rape kit, the victim DNA is in the system now too. That's how sometimes they match crimes to people that was sexual assault and they did commit a crime. And that's messed up to me. That's a fact.
So other than that, I don't really have any other theories unless she had enemies or, like you said, a lover or a stalker or somebody that wanted to be with her, someone that didn't want to see her happy. And then to even take it out on the kid, like, this person is sick, demented, twisted. To me, there's no excuse for doing what they did. Let the person live their life however they want to live their life. You have no say. Like, you move on. You're in charge of your own life. And this was really just a tragedy.
Yeah. And I thought of Kenny a little bit, but if I feel like he wasn't going to hurt his daughter, and like you said, he would took her somewhere safe. And she did ask, like, hey, daddy, let me spend out of your house. And he was like, no, like, I got an early morning. And I feel like they do probably hunt him for, like, the rest of his life. Like, dang, if I just took my child with me, she would have still be here. But, like, I won't call him self, but like in his head, like I was selfish. Like I just had an early morning. I wanted to sleep. I wanted to relax. And because of that, like he could have blamed himself in that aspect, you know? But I don't know. I just feel like the police need to look in, like they did look in like her surroundings and her friends, but it's somebody that I feel like, what if this person is calling the police all the time, like, hey, like, have you heard anything? Like trying to be involved in the case, like look into that person too. I feel like they focused so much on Kenny and they should have like looked at more people in her circle, because it seemed like her circle was small. If it was somebody that she trusted to walk into her household, and how everybody says she was so like protective of her kids, they had to be somebody that she trusted. And like sometimes you trust people and you think they're there for you, but they can also be a foe.
Yeah, you trust the wrong people.
And that's sad that this happened to her. And it's just like, I always picture like the kid that when they get unalive, like think of Adrienne just sitting there watching all this happen to her mom. And I wonder, did she go hide at any point? Because she is 4. Her mom probably said like, hey, go hide. And she probably did hide. And they probably like, we don't know for sure, but they probably did hunt her down. Because she's scared. What a little kid would do, they will go hide, you know? And then it's like their bodies was like right at the front door. So to me, that person, like he had to go out to a window or through the back door. Like he had to get out because Kenny said he couldn't get in. The bodies were like right at the door. Like he had to push his way in. So that's another thing. Like, did y'all check like the door? Did y'all like really like, what is the word? Like, really wiped out for fingerprints or anything? To me, like the police have the DNA. Like just look into her friend group or even try to run it again. Like a lot of people are doing Ancestry and 23andMe. Like look into that. Like they can run their DNAs on that too. So it's like you have the DNA, but you don't have the match. And that's sucky. Like they're like, oh, like we have the DNA. That's why I don't think it's Kenny. If they really thought it was Kenny, they was like, bring his DNA to like the one they have. But also I know DNA can tell you nowadays, DNA can tell you so much about that person. Like it can tell you like their race, their sex, everything about that person. I wonder, have they really like broke down the DNA now? Because this is back in the 80s. So it wouldn't be as thorough as it is now.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Well, that is our episode. If you guys have any theories, please tell us. I love hearing you guys' theories. If you are too shy to put it in the comments, slide into my DM. All our social medias are in the description below. We are on all podcast platforms, so please leave us a 5-star rating and tell us your favorite part of the episode. And also tell us your case suggestions. I love hearing case suggestions and I love doing them. We just recently did one and I have a lot more to do. So trust me, if you ask me to do a case, it's coming. It's just so many of them and we have episodes lined up already, but they will get done. So trust and believe me. This is Lesbian Detectives. I'm Sierra.
And I'm Elizabeth.
And don't forget, everybody's a suspect
So proven innocent.
Bye.
Lesbian Detectives. Unsolved cases. She's still missing. Yeah, they haven't found her yet.
Well, let's talk about it.
They say he vanished without a trace. Could it be a psychotic break? Or a tragic accident? Police don't know where the body went. Unsolved murders, body still missing. That's unheard. Where's the witness? Lesbian detectives, what's going on? City on high alert, this out the norm. He did what, the who? Man, that ain't real, these crimes ain't true. Then come uncover these theories with us. We live right now, tuning in is a must.
Right now. Lesbian Detectives. Lesbian Detectives. We about to start the show, so get your popcorn ready, let's go. Pay attention to the message I present to you, the Lesbian Detectives.